Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. Today we're going to work on landscapes, and the one that I wanted to show you guys this time is like a forest scene. Now when I make these, I prepare everything ahead of time and get some stringers ready to go. And what I'm making right here is the stringer for the tree. And there's a dark brown, there's a light brown, sometimes I'll add a gray and maybe a little tiny bit of ivory and pull that out. It'll give you a really beautiful trunk. Now I have a bundle of light green, dark green, both transparent and opaques. And I'm gonna roll this bundle together and add a little bit of light brown and a darker brown to one or the other side. You can vary this in so many different ways, but this is going to end up being the background landscape. And I don't want to pull this out too thin. The tree trunks, I want to be the thinnest cane of them all. This one I want to be on the thicker side. Now I'm going to jump right into making some stringers for the foliage on the trees. And I make a variety of them. A lot of times I'll try to make a light green with some transparent dark, or a dark green with transparent light, or vary that combination however I want to make a nice variety of greenery for the trees and maybe shrubs or something at the bottom. I'm even going to pull out a bit of the bundle and use that as well for the leaves. All right, now that we got all of our stringers together, let's make the landscape. There are so many different ways to make landscapes, you guys. This is just my take on it. And what I'm gonna do is start out this bead with about, let's say maybe an inch, maybe a little bit more of either white, or in this case, I'm using this new blue that I have that's kind of swirly with white. In the long run, it doesn't matter because you don't really notice that it's blue, but I thought I'd give it a try. And I'm going to roll this up my mandrel until I have a small core. Don't get this part too big because this is just the beginning. This is only the very inside. And from the bottom of that, I'm going to attach with a darker color. A brown is usually what I use, but you can also use like a green. I'm going to add the bottom, the landscape part. And I only add a very tiny amount because the landscape gets a lot larger after everything is said and done. So I want to keep it as low as I can at this point. So that right there is our base bead that we're going to start out with. It ends up being like almost about 2 inches long. I'll add a little bit more to the bottom. It just, I eye everything. Add a little bit more here or there, wherever you want. Once I have the base bead done, I'm going to start to add a little bit of a darker transparent blue or maybe an ink blue. This is going to be the bottom part of the sky. So you can vary the sky very easily by adding different shades of colors here as you go up to the top. And I always try to make sure I have some of the undercolor showing because it looks really cool, I think, when that color bleeds up to the surface a little bit. This is a light aqua blue. It's one of my favorite transparent blues. I'm going to put this right at the top of the skyline. All right, and now that we're done adding that background, that sky color, I'm going to heat everything up nice and slow. Take your time when you're heating up glass. Try not to rush it too much. Sometimes these transparent blues can get slightly boily, depending on what kind of flame you're using. So you just want to take your time and have that glass melt nice and slowly, and then we'll start to shape it up. You'll notice when you're shaping this that the bottom is going to be slightly thinner than the top. And that's important. You want that to be there because now I'm going to go ahead and add that background landscape color. Now, when I add this cane, I always start with the top. Do your skyline first. If you want it to be hilly or straight, that's when you want that to happen. And then work your way down to the bottom of the cane. Roll that out, and that'll be your landscape in the background. Okay, now it's just a matter of reshaping everything up. And the bead has still a little bit of room left on that bottom to add some clear. And this is optional. A lot of this stuff is obviously it's optional. And I'm going to add a little bit of clear. I should have started at the top, but I didn't. I didn't take my own words of advice. And I thought it would have been great to have a background that kind of went further back, and it would have worked, but the clear is on the bottom half. So I had to end up adding a little bit more clear to the top, which pushed everything more into the background, which looked great in the end. But yeah, there's just so many different ways to approach this. All right, so we're going to finish adding a little bit of clear, heat it up, and just get everything smoothed out. Every step that I do, I will try to make sure that the bead is nice and smooth before I move on. Now I'm ready to come in and add some clouds. And I use a white stringer, and I just touch the glass and I just do a little wiggle, wiggle, pull. That's really the technique that I use, wiggle, wiggle, pull. When I figured that out, you know, it's always worked good for me. So that's how I make my little clouds. And I just want to gently heat that up and smooth everything out again. And then we'll be ready for the next step. And the next step is to flatten the whole bead out. I'm using a tabulator this time to flatten it out. You can use any method you want. All right, so I take it into the press and put the top on and just press it down. It's awesome because after the press is made, you know, it just changes everything about the pattern. The whole look of the bead is different. And you could almost stop here. A lot of times these are just perfect as they are. But what I want to do before I do anything is to heat the surfaces and get rid of that chill mark. All right, moving on, we're going to add some tree trunks. And this is one of those cases where less is more. You really don't want to put too many tree trunks on it, even if you want it to kind of look full. It'll still look like there's a lot going on with just a couple on both sides. And I'll add these going from one side to another. I like to turn the bead over and work on both sides as I go, so I'm not neglecting the heat on either part of the bead. Now when I'm finished adding the tree trunks, I just take my knife and just gently flatten it down, not all the way, but just enough to where I feel comfortable with how secure it is to the surface of the bead. I don't want anything popping off at this point. All right, so at this time I'm going to start with all the tree foliage, and I will go through a variety of these little different colored canes. I'll start with a lighter color, and then I'll work into a darker color. And my whole approach here, my game plan, is to just add a little bundle on one side in one area, and then flip the bead over and do the same treatment on the other side, and then just go back and forth, trying not to neglect the heat of this bead in between. That's really where I have found most of my problems to be is right here, where I'm spending all this time just creating, all the leaves. it easily can crack right at the very top or the bottom of this bead. So make sure that you add a few little dots here and there, you do a little bit of work on it, and then you heat up the whole bead and make sure it's happy, and then you go back to working on it a little bit more. Take your time. That is the game here. Take your time. And once you have all of this done, and I did want to say that I do start, I try not to add, it's the same thing with the tree trunk. You try not to add too much, because sometimes you can just really take this and overwhelm the whole bead with all of this greenery at the top, and then you lose out on all your tree trunk action. So you kind of want to be methodical on where you place this stuff. But then in nature, is any of that methodical? So really it just is up to you on how and where you place it. I do flip the bead over to work on the bottom. I have a little tiny bit of red here that I thought would look nice for some foliage, maybe some flowers or something at the bottom. And then I'll go in with a little bit of yellow. A variety of yellows and oranges can look amazing in the leaves. It can give you a most beautiful fall look. Now I'll add a little bit of yellow and pink here just to finish everything off. So in just this little bit of time, I hope you can see the different techniques and the varieties of things that you could do to make a really great landscape. At the end, before I'm finished, I'm just going to take a little bit of time to make sure that the bead is nice and sound when it comes to cracking issues, and fix any problems like that, and then just flatten down some of the foliage and the leaves to make sure that they're just the way I want them to be. All right, you guys, I am so glad that I was able to make this and share it with you guys. I hope that you have fun wherever you're at and you're enjoying these videos. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in the dungeon.